Title: Echoes of Fear. The forest near the Manta Network's northernmost portal was thick with mist, the towering trees casting long shadows over the quiet landscape. Deep within, the beings often roamed freely, their work guided by the portals and the thought trails they created. But tonight, there was something different in the air. It wasn't just the mist. It was the sharp tang of fear. A human kind of fear. A small campfire flickered weakly in a clearing, and next to it, Max sat, knees pulled to his chest, his eyes darted back and forth, scanning the dark spaces between the trees, each crackling twig or rustling leaf setting his heart pounding. He had come to the Manta Network as a liaison, a role he had excelled at for years. But something inside him had changed recently. Max wasn't sure when it had started. Perhaps months ago, but the creeping terror had gradually consumed his mind. Max had been diagnosed with panic disorder years before joining the network. But for a long time, the attacks had been under control. Recently, however, they had become more frequent and intense, leaving him breathless and trapped in cycles of fear with no warning. He tried to hide it, thinking he could push through like before. But tonight, alone in the clearing, the walls seemed to close in on him. From the shadows, Linya, a being skilled in creating calming thought trails, observed him carefully. She had seen this before in humans. A sudden onset of paralyzing fear, gripping them in a way beings could not fully understand. Panic disorder, they called it. To Linya, it was more than just fear. It was an imbalance in the mind that reverberated into the world around them, causing chaos. Max's chest tightened, his breathing shallow and rapid. Every beat of his heart felt like an explosion in his chest. His hands shook, and sweat beaded on his forehead despite the cool air. Not now, he whispered to himself, trying to fight the oncoming wave of panic. Not here. Linya stepped out from the mist, her presence quiet but steady. Max. He jumped, startled by her sudden appearance, his wide eyes locking onto hers. For a moment, he said nothing, just staring at her as if she were a figment of his imagination. "You're not okay," Linya said softly, her voice like a soothing melody, though the statement was clear and direct. "You've been struggling for weeks." Max tried to speak, but the words caught in his throat. His thoughts were racing too fast, spiraling out of control. The pounding in his chest only grew louder. Linya knelt beside him, her gaze calm. "I can help you, but you have to trust me." Max shook his head, his breath coming in quick gasps. "I don't. There's nothing." Quote, "You're safe," Linya said, her tone unyielding yet gentle. "Breathe with me." With one hand, she traced a symbol in the air, and a soft, glowing light followed her fingers. The symbol formed into a delicate pattern that Max couldn't quite understand, but something about it calmed him, if only slightly. Linya's presence grounded him, and though his heart still raced, her voice gave him a thread to hold onto. "We're going to create a thought trail together," Linya explained. "It will guide your mind out of the fear, but you must focus on my voice." Max tried to nod, but his body felt heavy. The panic still clung to him, though Linya's voice seemed to cut through the fog, pulling him back toward clarity. "Close your eyes," she instructed. "Imagine a path in front of you. Each step you take is a breath, deep and steady. Breathe in and out." Max closed his eyes, his body trembling, but he focused on her words. The trail she described appeared in his mind, and with each breath, he took a mental step forward. His heart rate began to slow, the pounding in his chest lessening with every inhale and exhale. The fear still lingered, but it no longer consumed him. "The trail is yours to walk," Linya continued. "It's not about avoiding the fear. It's about moving through it. You're not running from it. You're in control." As Max followed the thought trail in his mind, his muscles slowly unclenched, and the tightness in his chest began to ease. Linya's light glowed brighter beside him, a constant reminder of her presence. The mist that had clouded his thoughts started to lift. After several minutes, Max opened his eyes. His breathing had evened out, and the terror that had gripped him so tightly had loosened its hold. I thought it was going to crush me, he admitted, his voice shaking but stronger than before. Linya nodded, her expression calm. Panic has a way of convincing you that you're powerless. But you're not. The trail is always there for you to walk, even when the fear feels overwhelming. Max looked at her, the weight of the experience still settling in. How did you know? Quote, I could feel it, Linya replied simply. Your fear echoed through the portal, affecting the energy around it. The beings felt it, too. Max frowned, feeling a pang of guilt. I didn't mean to disrupt anything. I couldn't control it. Linya placed a hand on his shoulder. It's not about control. It's about understanding that fear is a part of you. But it doesn't define you. You're stronger than it. Max nodded slowly, feeling the truth of her words. The panic wasn't gone. It never truly disappeared. But with Linya's help, he had found a way to face it. The trail was his. A path he could walk whenever the fear tried to take over again. Together, they sat in silence, the mist slowly dissipating as the calm returned. Max knew the journey wasn't over. But for now, he had taken a step in the right direction.